putting over certain images of himself, particularly as sort of almost Christ-like or semi-divine. His idea of himself as being God's representative on earth.
Richard and his idea of himself as a Christ figure is very important in the way we've shot the film, and Ben has a slightly sort of messianic quality.
One of the people that Rupert talked about was Michael Jackson. Something about Michael Jackson's, his otherworldliness.
I wanted somebody who had an otherness, a kind of Peter Pan quality, someone who was distant poetically in their soul. Ben just has, I think one of the other actors said the thing about Ben is he doesn't talk to you, he talks to your aura. And I think that's sort of true. He has this very kind of beautiful spiritual quality.
Rupert had all these wonderful kind of... Jackson, we also talked about Morrissey. And who else did we talk about? Oscar Wilde. And sometimes it was interesting to think about those people in terms of how Richard might deliver a line or how we might play a scene or something or other. So once this challenge to his power is presented to him, it taps into all his worst.
Exiling Bolingbroke, and as a man of principle and pride, he comes back to reclaim what he believes is his rightful.
Rupert early on about wanting him to direct one of these films, and he immediately said he wanted to do Richard II. He loved the play, and was very clear that he wanted Ben to play Richard II.
Once Ben Whishaw came aboard, there was nobody who didn't think this was a project to be on. And then when Rory came aboard, the rest of the cast just wanted to come and listen to what they had to say.
What I've been so lucky with is having actors, youngish actors, who have they're the right age for the roles, but they've got stacks of screen and Shakespeare experience, and I do think you need both.
It felt like a group of actors who we would never have been able to get together to do this play on stage, and here they all were, and they were all going to be in it, and you kept having to pinch yourself that Patrick Stewart really was going to be playing John of Gaunt.
We had people like David Suchet and Patrick Stewart who are so steeped in it. I mean, it's extraordinary. Their level of understanding and ease and authority with it. Rory Kinnear, who plays Bolingbroke, I'm in awe of as well in terms of his mysterious connection with it. You just understand immediately what he's saying. Just sits in the language so comfortably.
Ben's one of the most stunningly talented young actors there are. Someone who's just going to have the most glorious career, and not just in the sense of he was going to do good for himself, but also that it was the kind of talent that was going to, without being too over the top about it, but in some way enrich the cultural thread of our country.
Piece where Richard gives up his crown to Bolingbroke. There we were in this cathedral that both Richard and Bolingbroke would have visited. In fact, there's even pictures on the walls of both men, actually. It felt sort of, the whole shoot came together on that day. I know people would have paid thousands and thousands of pounds to sit in one of those pews and watch those two. Really exciting.
There was something very special going on between these two actors, and they weren't going to miss a point if they could.
People will look back on this, hopefully, and it'll be the equivalent of watching the young, Olivier or the young Gielgud. They're such terrific actors, both of them.
Really, really good Shakespeare on film defines how acting is in a generation. And if you see, Olivier's Shakespeare films or Branagh's, which I sort of grew up with, they, are absolutely